Good afternoon and welcome to the Riverside Stadium in Queanbeyan for Bottom 4 Final Series. It's Canberra Olympic versus Monaro Panthers to get us underway. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator, and joining me back from exile is Steve Forshaw. Back by popular demand, Steve. Welcome back to the gantry. How you been keeping?
Really well, thanks, Russ. Nice to be back. Good, just for today, but I'm looking forward to it.
But just for today at the moment. We'll see what happens next week and the week after that. How do you fancy Cootamundra for an NPL1 Grand Final?
Yeah, let me sleep on that.
2 games today. This one has a big effect, though, of course, on the bottom 4, and we've got a game on after this. Just reflect a little bit on what we saw yesterday. I know you watched it from home as well. Gungahlin United getting through to the grand final, played Canberra. Got the final, which we probably would have expected, but it took a bit of a roundabout way to get there, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the expected result was a Canberra Croatia Gungahlin final. Even with the season being abbreviated, if we'd have played a full season, I think people would have expected this final. But we didn't get to there the way most people would have thought. Gungahlin sort of bit inconsistent, but managed to scrape through in the end and get a good result against Tigers to put them in the final. And Canberra Croatia have really set the benchmark this year and remain undefeated.
Looking forward to that next week. Should be a good one. There's a couple of women's semi-finals today as well to take into consideration. Belconnen versus Gungahlin United, and Canberra Croatia versus Canberra Olympic at Deakin Stadium. We'll try and keep you across everything that's happening there. Bottom 4 final series, as I mentioned, 3:45. Steve will still be with me, hopefully, for Tuggeranong versus Woden Western. That one may be a dead rubber, obviously, depending on what happens here. If Canberra Olympic win, they're into the final of the playoff next week, and they'll play Woden Western, obviously, but Monaro Panthers can make sure that Woden need to do something if they get a win or a draw. Yeah.
I mean, most of the results from this game keep the second game alive, apart from the Olympic win. So perhaps from a neutral point of view, we're looking for anything other than an Olympic win. I'm sure the Olympic supporters will be thinking differently. But by and large, we can look forward to 2 decent games this afternoon, as long as the players and the clubs involved provide the right sort of positive attitude and intensity.
Let's have a look at the teams. We've got Canberra Olympic first. They've made 4 changes from the side which beat Tuggeranong United 2-1 last week. James Christis stays in goal. Bailey Sorensen comes in at right back. Cale Brown stays at left back. Lasse Ulrich and Michael South in the central defenders. A midfield 3 of Jay Kelly, return of Tristan Tanioski in the centre, and Chris Ray comes to the left-hand side. Up front, there's a debut for Tyson Livermore, and Isosra Hegi partners Nick Popovich.
Yeah, young, but still a decent sort of 11 to be putting out on the park for this game. Young Bailey Sorensen gets his debut, I think, today. And he's a young lad with a lot of potential, and he'll be looking forward to the game. You can expect that his enthusiasm will provide some highlights for us. But it's not the sort of Olympic side that we've seen in recent years that you actually look at it and say this is a red-hot certainty for a win. I think this is an opportunity for Monaro to take the game to them.
On the bench is a tale of that as well. Bit of youth, bit of experience. Stephen Dominici and Rory Larkin provide the experience, and the youth provided by Zane McAlpine and Gianni Corrigan, both of whom will be in line for a debut should they come on. Yeah,
it's good to see. It's good to see that Robbie Kadanak has had a look at the bottom 4 challenge and said this is an opportunity to blood some young players with an eye on next season. And if they do get the chance, we hope they do well.
Jimmy Canaridis from Monaro Panthers makes 4 changes to his team that were beaten 2-1 last week by Woden Western. They come in the form of James Driscoll, Dimitri Paraskos, Mitch Jervis-Hamilton and Nathan Alfring. So Alfring back in goal for Evan Alexander Ridley. The back 4, fairly settled look. Sam Rosebark, David Jenkins and Eli Howell, but James Driscoll we think is going to play left back. Midfield 3 of Dimitri Paraskos, Nick Dahl and Lukman Ahmed Shaibu dropping into the number 10 role. 3 up front, Mitch Jervis-Hamilton and Adam New, probably either side of Sam Smith.
Yeah, I think the players that Jimmy Canaridis has been able to bring in as these changes bring a little bit more experience than the same changes at the Olympics. So it's not a bad 11 again. It's a good starting 11, and they can look forward to a decent game. With Lookman, I think playing in that 10 role, he'll get more involved and they might just get a little bit more out of him. He's tended to play a little bit deeper this year than the normal 9 anyway. So I'm looking forward to see how he handles that role.
Plenty of experience on the bench for the Panthers. Ben Basser-Silk, Aaron Cashman, J. James Wood and Ed McCarthy. And Ned Jeffries, the young goalkeeper, is the backup. So a lot of experience in terms of first-grade games amongst those 4 outfield players.
Yeah, and that might just be the difference at the end of the day when you're trying to get yourself 3 points. A little bit of experience off the bench might just swing it in favour of Monaro.
Shane Lyson-Smith charged with taking charge of matters. Delphina Demoski and Jordan King, the assistants. Canberra Olympic broke a 5-game winless streak last week with that narrow victory over Tuggeranong.
You don't say that very often.
I haven't said it at all in Premier League era. I don't think it's been a long time, and I went back and think it was more than a decade.
Yeah, doesn't surprise
that
me.
Much.
Yeah, they've been one of the stronger teams throughout the competition since the NPL kicked off. Winning grand finals, finishing top of the table, winning cup games. Had that magnificent run in the FFA Cup when they got to the semi-finals. But this year it hasn't all clicked for them, and they've gone through a transition with Frank Keisha leaving the club and Robbie Katanak taking over. There's 1 or 2 players left, 1 or 2 come in, and it's just been a little bit more difficult than they would have anticipated.
And no clean sheet in 11 matches for Canberra Olympic, and that's not something we say very often either. They're usually quite solid at the back. You talk about the changes they've made, though, just for people that are listening as well. They've given NPL debuts to 9 players during the season that's just gone. In the 10 games we've had, Atulu, Brown, Buckmaster, Crawford, Carling, Ray, Whistler, Burkett, and Livermore and Sorensen joined that list today. So 9 debuts in blue over the course of a 10-game season. That possibly shows you where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an unusual year, isn't it, with the abbreviated season, but it's a great opportunity. I mean, there's no relegation, so this is, if you were going to blood players, you had the perfect opportunity to do it, and Olympic have taken full advantage of that, so full credit to them.
Well, Olympic in the blue. The Panthers, again, technically the away team at their home venue.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because they finished lower down the ladder.
Right.
So they're always the away team, even though they're home. And I mention this every time we do the Panthers here. Their home record at the Riverside isn't great. It's something like about 1 win in the last 12.
I think they've only beaten Tuggeranong, haven't they?
Yeah, only 2 wins in 12 matches at this ground. Isn't great from their point of view. Early ball forward for Ray. Let's see if they can change that this afternoon. Adam New in possession. Ahmed Shaibu playing from a deeper role today, and that's Smith going early, and he's miles offside, so easy call there for Jordan King.
Yeah, but Olympic playing with a high line, it's something that Monaro will have a look at. It does look like Driscoll's gone to left back.
They want a little bit more luck, the Panthers, than they've seen here in the last 2 weeks. They've hit the woodwork 6 times in the last 2 games.
That's consistent.
Yeah, I think I was talking last week with Frank Cation. I think I was saying that perhaps the goals here are a little bit lower and narrower than normal. Smith with the touch. Ulrich in the way, and a chance on the break for Olympic. Heggie tried to get in behind. Little flick pass. Tanoski. Royce Barkin. Nick Dahl challenged. Having Tanoski back is a big bonus, though.
Yeah, it'll help, especially with a lot of the young players making their starts or second starts, so having that sort of experience is handy.
Paraskos sliding into the challenge. Got there ahead of Livermore. Adam Neal can bring it under control there. Here's Michael Southam and Jay Kelly. Again, an early look for Nick Popovich. David Jenkins was there, and he's been caught a little bit late by Nick Popovich. David Jenkins had a good season. He's started all 10 matches for the Panthers. Moves on to 96 in the NPL, so he'll, all being equal, will bring up the century next year.
There's no doubt about it that in a season that sort of failed to live up to expectations, he's been a highlight. But I think his central defensive partner, Eli Howe's done okay too.
That was his ball from the free kick, looking for Rosebuck, and just zips off the surface. We had a really big downpour during the under-23s when myself and Steve were wandering back from the coffee shop. Delayed our departure, didn't it, Steve? It was came down monsoon-like for a couple of minutes.
It was heavy, and it will speed the pitch up, which should make for a decent game, should improve the pace of the game anyway.
Ahmed Shaibu tries to flick it past Southam. Smith's got a toe in. It's going to fall for Paraskos. Smith's flick. Again, can't squeeze it past Ulrich, and Tanoski will get a free kick. You mentioned it off air, Steve, when we were down there. Pitch is drained beautifully, though, isn't it? It looks in really good nick.
Yeah, it's since they've done it up, since they spent the money on it and they've done it up, this has become a first-class facility. And, the rain, when we walked back into the ground, there was water lying along the touchlines and it's gone. It's almost like it's dry. So fantastic playing surface, and I think with that extra little bit of zip, it's going to help.
A little bit different from the days when you were running around on here.
Well, not so much running.
Jenkins under pressure from Popovic. I ambled around this pitch as well, Steve.
Yeah.
It's about all.
You ambled around the penalty area, didn't you?
Yeah, that's as far as I'd go.
I stuck to the centre circle.
Nia's toe has put Ahmed Shaibu away, and he's tried to return the compliment to Adam Nia. And there's a chance here for the Panthers if he pulls it back. Ulrich sticks a leg out. It's going to fall for Nick Darlow on the edge of the box. Can he get the shot away? Looking to line one up. Tarnowski with the block, and immediately Ahegi tries to break. It's noticeable there's not much midfield at the moment. Rosebakken looking to run it into the penalty area. Jinking run. Smith looks to slide him in. It might come for Rosebakken here. Real chance, and it's an own goal. Turned in from close range, and the Panthers are in front.
They've looked like getting in behind both fullbacks, even in this sort of early part of the game. So this is one of the sort of problems with having an unsettled back four. But by and large, good move, good finish. And they've looked to get combinations around the penalty area in these early first 4 or 5 minutes. So well done, Monaro.
I think it winning off Bailey Sorensen, perhaps. Not quite sure from our angle.
Nobody's sort of claiming it from a Monaro point of view, so I think it was an Oggy.
Not the introduction that Sorensen really would want on his first grade debut, 4 minutes in. But it's the Panthers who have the advantage, and it's what they needed. Keeps the tournament alive for them at the moment. They've gone on to 6 points, and they'll be playing in the 5th to 8th place playoff plate final next week. Bottom 4 final series championship.
You nearly lost your bottom teeth saying that then.
Here they go again. It's Ahmed Shaibu. Rosebakken, Olympic at 6s and 7s at the moment. Can the Panthers take advantage? Rosebakken looks to lift it in there. Jervis Hamilton putting his body in the way. And that's what you get, I guess, with a new look side, not very settled. No,
it's a little bit, as you say, 6s and 7s. But Rosebakken has troubled more experienced defences than the Olympic ones that have been put out today. So he's another one in the Monaro back four that's done pretty well.
And it's his penetrating run that created the opening for the ball to end up in the back of the net. Tarnowski finds Ahegi. Nick Dahl in midfield. Jenkins. Paraskos, who's made the move across from Canberra Olympic, playing against his former team. That's a decent knock from Jenkins to New. Another former Canberra Olympic player.
Yeah, we should do better with that touch. There was a good ball from David Jenkins. But, I was talking to Jimmy Canaridis before this game started, and we were both saying that Monaro, between the two penalty areas, have been as good as anybody else in the competition. It's just they've not been able to stick the ball away and have conceded soft goals. So that's probably the story of their season. And today they just sort of put that right in the early stages anyway.
Plenty of time, though, for the Olympic to do something about it. Here's Sorensen. More assured touch. Southam square to Ulrich. Canberra Olympic's record here is pretty good. They've never lost to the Panthers in Queanbeyan in 8 matches with 7 wins and a draw. They won 8-1 here back in 2013. But at the moment, they've got it all to do.
Yeah, don't see them scoring 8 today.
Be a remarkable final 84 minutes or so.
I think with the likes of Popovic in the team, Ahegi, Tarnowski, they can look to get something out of the game, and certainly with people like Dominici on the bench, then you've got a little bit of strength in depth. But like you say, they've got some work to do if they're going to get something out of this.
Jervis Hamilton was chasing, that was his through ball for Rosebakken to chase. James Christus had to come to deal with it. At the moment, Olympic haven't settled. With 7 minutes in, Panthers with an early lead. They took the lead here early against Tuggeranong United as well, Monaro. Went on to win 3-0 that day, a couple of weeks ago.
Maybe that's the secret, got to score first.
Smith.
Good ball.
Lifts it over the top, Adam Neu. Chance for him to lift it into the penalty area if he can. Pulls it back, Lukman Ahmed Shaibu was lurking. Ulrich got rid of it. Paraskos with something ambitious from a long way out.
Not a bad attempt though, caught it quite well. Wasn't going to trouble the keeper, but it was worth the go.
Well, Panthers' goal-scoring record hasn't been great. They've only scored more than once in a game twice in the last 9 matches. 2 3-0 wins. But giving themselves plenty of time to get that second goal. Sorensen.
The early indications are that if anybody's going to score again, it might be Monaro, but it's early days and you don't write an Olympic team off without some peril.
Chris Ray's touch finds Southam. Looking for options forward. Cale Brown's snuck up from left back. That's where he's aimed the pass. Good one too. Brown's touch wasn't quite as good as he needed it to be. Rosebarken. Jervis Hamilton finds Jenkins. Looking to lift it forward now. Heggie's charged it down, but it should be fairly straightforward for Nathan Alfrink, who's had a quite sedate opening 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, and both teams have lined up with 4-3-3, so there's an opportunity for one midfield to get on top perhaps, and then exert some sort of authority over the game. But at the moment, everything's Monaro. Everything's going for the greens.
Like drizzle started as well now again out there, so that'll help the surface zip on again if it needed a bit more. Under 23s this morning, Tigers FC will play Gungahlin United next week in the under 23 bottom 4 final series.
It's an amazing turnaround for a team that couldn't turn up for a game against Belconnell.
They've been subsidised by a fair few first grade players that have been playing up and down, and Tony Spaseski, who played in the first grade yesterday, played another 90 minutes today. That's 3 weeks in a row that he's then played 90 minutes on a Saturday and 90 minutes on a Sunday. Fair effort. It
is a good effort.
Good ball that is, and Neo now he's going to be away here, but the flag does go up rather late from Jordan King. Probably offside there.
I think he was just a shade offside, and the linesman the assistant referee was just waiting for him to get a touch.
I'd hesitate to say the scoring's done, Steve, but there's been 3 or more goals in 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two.
I think you'll get something similar today. Young Bailey Sorensen's going to know he's in a game at the moment, because they're going down that left-hand side from Monaro's point of view. That's a great ball.
Tanoski switched it over the top of the chance for Livermore, who fires it goalwards. Confident effort from the young boy. In all of those 9 games, bar 1, there's been 4 goals as well. So either both these sides like to play a nice open game against each other.
It's not unusual, is it, for local football for the big goals scored?
There's rarely nil-nils, is there? We've done a couple this year, which is very, very rare. Doesn't happen very often at this level. Not going to get one today, of course. Early strike from the Panthers.
That'll do Sorensen a world of good. Got a good tackle in then on, I think it was Eli Howe coming across.
Southam slides it forward. It's good ball too. He's picked out Jay Kelly. Now can Kelly advance in a menacing manner, looking for some support? Tanoski square. That's where it's gone, and Tanoski lining one up from distance, and that wasn't too far away. Nathan Alfrink was either very calm or he was rooted to the spot, because I think that was closer than he thought.
Well, if it was on target, he wasn't getting it, that's for sure. He was very, very static. Luckily, his judgment was perfect.
Yeah, he'll tell you he had it covered all the way.
Good on him.
Tanoski lifts it forward. Now Popovic might be in on the end here, and Alfrink quick off his line to gather. Once again, his judgment spot on. Eli Howe. He clips it forward now, looking for Smith. Playing down the middle today, Sam Smith. Most of the season he's been on the right-hand side.
I like him down the middle. I think he's got a lot to offer down the middle.
Praskos finds Adam New. Bundled off it by Bailey Sorensen, who's recovered well from the own goal. If indeed it was his. We'll check that out at half-time. Southam lifts that forwards. Heggie up with Jenkins. Rosebarken's there. Nicely done by the pair of defenders. Jervis Hamilton. Nick Dahl. Nice feet from Nick Dahl. Jervis Hamilton once more. Rosebarken. Jervis Hamilton building nicely. This Ahmed Shaibu tried to squeeze it through. Wasn't far away from finding Adam Near. He's got it back again though.
Yeah, he recovered well, because the option was just to bounce it back to Jervis Hamilton, and I think they might have created something. Great ball.
Sweeping pass from Eli Howe, and he's found Smith, who's peeled out to that left-hand side, and he can go at Sorensen here. Smith, and pulls it back. Real chance for Adam New if he can get it under control. He can't. Driscoll's in there, though, sliding in. Challenge from Tarnowski. Falls for Paraskos. Looking to get it onto the left foot for the curler, and it's blocked by Chris Rain. It might spit out for a corner. Panthers looking dangerous.
Yeah, it's all Panthers at the moment. Olympic just finding it a little bit difficult to deal with. Paraskos coming forward, Nicky Dale coming forward, and that deeper lying Lookman role.
Plenty of green and black shirts in the penalty area. Adam New lining up the corner. Will it be a decent delivery? It's not bad. It's going to fall for Smith, who sends it back from where it came.
Playing for a corner.
Didn't get it right, did he, with the shot?
His technique was just slightly off. He did the right thing by trying to side foot it, but unfortunately it couldn't have gone much wider.
Take 2 for Adam New. Can he beat the first man this time? Swings in, better one. Good delivery, real chance for Howe, and somehow he's headed it in the one part of the goal where there was a player standing. Otherwise it was 2-0.
All he had to do was get it on target. He should have scored, but poor marking.
Sorensen was on the post and it came right to him, and he cleared it for another corner. Take 3. Adam Neal short this time. Smith tries to bend one towards the far post, and Christus is behind it, and that's a little bit of a let-off again for Canberra Olympic.
Yeah.
Probably should be 2-0 down.
2-0 up. 2-0 down, yeah.
Popovic, good challenge. James Driscoll.
We've said it all season, or you and Frank, when you've been commentating, and others have said it all season, that if you don't take your chances, it can come back and bite you, and Monaro might just find that they regret missing those 1 or 2 that they've created since they scored.
Sam Rosbachen in a little bit of pain here. Might have landed awkwardly after that challenge. Picked himself up, holding the shoulder there. A little hyperextension of the arm, perhaps.
Yeah, Colin Sturton's coming on with the speed and alacrity of myself.
And a bottle of water.
Keep coming, Col. Keep coming.
That'll make it better.
He'll need that when he gets off.
Doesn't seem to be anything too untoward for Sam Rosbachen.
Just looks like he's got a bit of a bang on that shoulder, doesn't he?
Probably when he landed. Brown with the throw. Game goes on. Paraskos nods it away. Dahl helps it further up the line.
Unusual for a club, even in this sort of abbreviated, less than serious stuff, to not have a physio available.
Well, perhaps you're doing Cole Sturton a disservice.
I might be.
Ulrich. Chris Ray in midfield and tries to pick a pass. He's done well there, and an opportunity here for Livermore into the penalty area, and just eased off it by Eli Howe. Just a little bit more strength from the central defender, but a lovely little touch from Livermore to get him away briefly.
And then he should have shot. I think he just wanted that one extra touch, and that's a little bit of inexperience in those sort of precious situations.
So quite lively early on, though, hasn't he? The couple of half chances he's had.
Yeah, he's done okay.
The effort that dipped onto the top of the net earlier was a decent effort as well from a tight angle. Confidence of youth to have a pop from there. Hasn't got Stephen Dominici in his ear, mind. Here's Adam Neer looking to slide it in towards Smith, and he's going to get there ahead of Ulrich, who stands strong. They want a 4th corner, the Panthers. They're going to get one. Chance to load the penalty area once again if they choose to do so.
Sam Smith's moving off the ball is just causing them some problems. They're drifting into wider areas and getting in behind fullbacks. His pace in behind Sorensen in particular is going to be a useful weapon.
Well, they find Howe again. Near swings it into that general area. It was Howe was the target. Couldn't get a touch on it though, and it should be cleared by Olympic. Tucked in the corner at the Riverside. Did mention, Steve, how nice it is here, and this facility that we're in as well gives us a fantastic view of proceedings. Ahmed Shaibu finds Jervis Hamilton, square ball to Smith. He might line up a shot as well. That's going to be way too high. Just got over it.
Well, complimented him on his technique with the volley, but that was poor.
70 minutes gone, and it's been all Panthers, you'd say. They've had the opportunities. They've scored the first goal. Bailey Sorensen own goal, we believe, and Eli Howe perhaps should have made it 2. Olympic, for their part, haven't really tested Nathan Alfred just yet. There was a fizzer from Tarnowski that wasn't too far wide. Here's New, who started brightly as well. Smith looks to return the ball to Neo, but the flag went up once again.
Good press from Monaro, though. Letting Olympic come out one side and then really putting the squeeze on and winning the ball back in good areas. They'll take advantage of that sooner or later.
Ulrich. Tanoski. Ulrich. Kelly. And Lukman Ahmed Shaibu back defending, helping out. Ehegi.
Been largely quiet, hasn't he? Been anonymous so far, Ehegi, and he's the sort of player that can, for 89 minutes you don't see him, then he'll bob up and get you the winner.
It's had a quiet season by his standards, only the 1 goal in 9 matches.
Hasn't played them all though, been on the bench a couple of times.
Started 6, come off the bench 3 times.
Yeah, you would expect a little bit more from him, but you know, you change clubs and different players, different environment, maybe that's had an impact.
Yeah, that goal came in a 3-1 win over the Panthers.
That was at O'Connell, wasn't it?
It was at O'Connell, yep. You've been watching, Steve? Good memory. Cal Brown, who's come into this final series and done very well at fullback. Tanoski tries to slide it into the path of Ray. Oh, and that's a bit short. I was going to say, Chris Ray's shown his versatility in this final series. He's played wide on the right, wide on the left, and now in midfield.
Well, it's good to have more than one string to your bow, but sooner or later he's going to have to settle down into a spot, I suppose, and that will come as his career develops.
Kelly forced backwards, Southam. Jervis Hamilton putting pressure on Ulrich, who hasn't seen him, and may have got a bit lucky there.
Did well, though.
Midfielder.
Yeah, did well. He's another one that's played 1 or 2 different positions this year, hasn't he? He's had a couple of runs in midfield.
Clipped forward. Now here's a chance for Sam Smith. If you can get there ahead of Southam. Jervis Hamilton was involved as well. The ball's going to break to Sam Rosebarken. Smith. Rosebarken, who's had plenty of touches early on. Smith, nice back heel. Rosebarken into the area. Chance here for the Panthers, snuffed out by Tanoski at the expense of a corner.
Defensively, Olympic are just a little bit reactive. They're not reading the game particularly well, and it was really interesting when that ball broke for Smith before that he was one-on-one if he got a good touch, and there was no cover at all. Both fullbacks high. Ulrich caught out of position. Perhaps a situation where they might have done better.
Yet another corner for the Panthers. I make this 5 already in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, they need to capitalise on this pressure.
Neo swings it into Ahmed Shaibu, wins the header. Great save. Plunging downwards by Christis. Ahmed Shaibu thought he'd scored.
Great header, great save. Lovely delivery, nice pace on it. He made it really well, Ahmed Shaibu. And what a save from James Christie. That, you know, young boy coming in, done really well.
And his second match of the season, James Christis, and makes a super stop to keep the score at 1-0. But the pressure's still on. Everybody in a blue shirt back defending this one.
So you might as well push up.
Neo goes short to Paraskos, who clips it into the area. Not the best touch. Might fall for Driscoll. Nicely picked out to Eli Howe. There's still plenty of bodies. Here's Ahmed Shaibu. Flag stays down and he's put it over. Huge opportunity again for the Panthers, and they should at least be 2-0 up, if not more.
Certainly too. Should have scored then. I mean, Howe's header you can just about excuse, but that one-on-one, keeper to beat only, should have scored.
But once he brought it down 7 yards out, you thought the net was going to bulge.
Absolutely, because his first touch was a good one.
For a player who's been in decent form, 4 goals this season, would have expected him to add to his tally. But worryingly for Robbie Katanach in Olympic was how easy he's getting in.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lovely ball from Eli Howe. And the finish just didn't do it justice. Good run, good movement, good ball. Poor finish at the end of the day.
Rosebarken, they're in behind again here with Jervis Hamilton. Cal Brown having a torrid time of it. The ball across. Unfortunately for Olympic, Sorensen hooks it away. Defensively all over the place at the moment. Here's Ahmed Shaibu using his strength. Nick Dahl. Jervis Hamilton once more. Has he got the room to deliver? He can't. Cal Brown snuffed that one out. But Monaro Panthers are looking likely every time they get in the final third.
Yeah. The one thing that I think they could do better is actually get bodies into the box, into the right areas. There's very, very similar sort of movement in the penalty area. So when the ball's going in, and we've seen it regularly this season, when Sam Smith has actually provided some quality service, but haven't had the people in there, people hanging on the edge of the box rather than attacking the spaces in the penalty area. And that is probably part of the reason why they haven't scored more goals this year.
Halfway through the first half, Love and Bar TV Sports bottom 4 final series. It's Canberra Olympic 0, Monaro Panthers 1. Reminder that the Panthers need a win to progress to the grand final. And if they do, as long as Woden don't lose heavily to Tuggeranong, it will be the Wanderers they'll play, because their goal difference will be slightly better
Than Olympics.
Yeah. But goals change that, of course. And Olympic have plenty of time to do something, but at the moment they've not really strung much together in terms of an attacking threat. Maybe they will now with Kelly.
Still in the game though, 1-0. Anything can happen, and it only takes a mistake, one break, and you're back in it.
And you mentioned it earlier, Steve, after it was Eli Househeader, that the chances are coming. You need to take them. If you don't take them, you can get punished.
Absolutely.
If they do need a goal, Canberra Olympic, they've got Stephen Dominici on the bench, 131 goals in 142 games, so he knows his way to the net, doesn't he?
Oh, he knows his way around the penalty area, that's for sure.
Ahmed Shaibu's nipped in here and he can bring it forward. Looking for Smith down the middle. He's onside. Sam Smith. Has he got the pace to get away for Kale Brown? Gets the shot away anyway. Not quite quick enough to get away from the defender. Tests Ristus again, but good weight from Ahmed Shaibu in that number 10 role. He's thriving.
Yeah, lovely pass. Split the defence wide open. Sammy Smith probably not the quickest going in behind, and his decision making then was probably a little below par. I mean, once he'd got onto the left foot and he was on that angle, he probably would have been better. Well, he certainly would have been better than missing, but trying to keep possession.
Another save for Ristus to make there. More routine one, but
yeah, straight at him.
Another shot on target. Jenkins has slipped. Now here's a chance for Olympic. Ihegi, can they take advantage? He's got Livermore in space. Goes on his own into a more crowded area. Popovic helps him out. Gets away from Nick Dahl. Does Nick Popovic. Now takes on Driscoll. Ray in support. Has to go further back though to Bailey Sorensen. Can he pick out the pass? Decides to change the angle of attack with the crossfield ball. Brown. Kelly in midfield. Sorensen's gone down the wing. Popovic takes over and might use Sorensen now, but not quite on the same wavelength. It's come off Ahmed Shaibu there.
Case in point, one slip, one mistake, and suddenly you're under a bit of pressure.
It's funny how football does that to you, doesn't it? The momentum can shift with that one tiny little error. And that's probably to do with the surface that's had a fair smattering of rain, even though the skies are blue.
It's also got to do with the fact that they haven't taken the chances when they should. I mean, there could be 2 or 3 up, and you make a mistake like that and concede, and you're still in charge.
Tarnowski's past one, tries to squeeze it through again. I think he was looking for the 1-2 with Ihegi. Came off the shins of Paraskos back there.
But if they can get Popovic, Taneski, Kelly on the ball in higher areas around that penalty area, they can create something, and that will cause problems for Monaro.
Driscoll's crossfield ball beautifully taken in by Rosepark, and Livermore back to snap into the challenge. And Rosepark can't keep it in play.
Should've.
Switch of wings for Tyson Livermore. Heggie's popped out to the right. Livermore down on the left.
Might see a little bit more out of our Heggie down the right anyway. More comfortable, I think, on his right foot.
Dahl finds New. Pops it back to Nick Dahl in midfield. Panthers playing a bit of keep ball. Howe looking for the decisive one forward. Brown in the way though, and that's a nice header. And it's released Livermore. Bit of space for him to run, but his touch.
And Heggie was in if you could have seen him.
Touch was too heavy. Jervis Hamilton for Rosepark. Seems to be an inordinate amount of space in midfield, doesn't there, at the moment, for Monaro Panthers when they go forward?
I think it's a function of the fact that this is an Olympic side that doesn't regularly play together, but they seem to be playing in sort of 2 lines and leaving the midfield just a little bit exposed.
Driscoll, turn of pace to get into the penalty area, looking for the pass. Adam Neal was the man waiting. Kelly in the way. Heggie gets a deflected ball to Tarnowski. He managed to force it forward to Ray. Tarnowski, Panthers back in numbers now though. Kelly just took his eye off it for a second, has managed to win it back though with a fairly forceful challenge. And then off to the races, Jay Kelly. Still going. Looking for Popovic. Jenkins read the intention of the pass, and he can switch the attack to the other end, but not with a pass like that he can't.
No. Just a little bit too easy for both teams to break the first line. Monaro started off the press quite well, and they just left Sammy Smith a little bit isolated when they have decided to press in the last few minutes. And that's allowed people like Kelly to get on the ball a little bit, even if he is a little bit deep or deeper than they might have wanted.
Nathan Alfrink, 28 minutes in, another save to make yet. Howe brings it forward. Looks for Ahmed Shaibu.
It's a hard ball. Hard ball. Straight into his feet with his back to goal. It's a hard one. But they've got the free kick.
Yeah, a little nudge in the back of the American forwards by the Danish defender. Both of them used to be roommates, those two, in America.
Is that right?
In college, yeah. Lasse Ulrich and Lukman Ahmed Shaibu. It was Lasse Ulrich that got Lukman Ahmed Shaibu to the country by recommending him to the NPL here.
And is there any reason why he came to Monaro rather than Olympic?
I think originally he was going to try and go to Olympic, but they were full up on forwards.
Okay.
And so he's got himself a gig here now, and he's done pretty well. They know each other quite well, those two. Bragging rights up for grabs there as well.
Actually, both very decent players.
Near with a throw. Nick Dahl got a bit lucky. It's going to go back to Neo though. Might try his luck with a curler. The deflection falls for Smith, who nods it goalwards. Didn't quite have the pace to trouble Christus.
Very little else he could have done there, Sammy Smith. He just came to him a bit fortunately, but another attempt on goal.
Brown tries to clear it. Ray helps it on its way. Kelly lifts it forward. Livermore's peeled away. Good run too by the young winger. Jenkins and Rosebarken in front of him. Went to go through the pair of them, but Sam Rosebarken wasn't having any of that.
There wasn't a lot of urgency from the Olympic players to get there and help him. He was left by himself.
He was doing it all on his lonesome, wasn't he? Rosebarken stabs it clear, and again it's a black and green shirt that picks it up. Ahmed Shaibu to Jervis Hamilton. Plays it forward. Now Rosebarken is onside. Christus has come and won the ball. Good decision by the keeper. Thought for a minute he may have checked himself.
I think he did. I think he was a little bit hesitant, but then realised that he could get there quite comfortably.
Fortunately for Olympic he did, because there was two players waiting for a tap-in.
And a very, very high line in the break. I mean, you'd think that if you can't get a delay on the player carrying the ball, then you've got to actually drop a little bit and give yourself a chance.
Praskos to Smith. I'm sure the Panthers will be feeling they need to score a second while they're on top. Smith backs himself with his pace. Kel Brown back there challenging with him. Smith somehow comes away with it. Wins his team a throw. Right down by the corner flag. Mitch Jervis Hamilton to take. Ahmed Shaibu lets a ball run across his body, then clips it in. Neo waiting on the edge of the box, but Olympic can get it away.
That's the point I was making before, that, you know, as you say, Neo waiting on the edge of the box. Nicky Dahl was the only one in the penalty area. I mean, it's got to be a good ball to hit him.
Popovic. That was too far ahead of Sorensen. I think he took his eye off it briefly. Just a reminder, 3:45 this afternoon, Tuggeranong versus Woden Western. Next weekend, it's grand final day. Oh, that's a challenge and a half from Nick Popovic. He'd be very lucky if he doesn't get a yellow card for that. Shane Lyson-Smith has given him a warning, and he's probably very lucky.
Absolutely. And one of the last games I did with you last year, Nicky Popovic got sent off for doing something like that, and he's gone in, and it's almost 2 feet from behind.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, was it? I can't believe he's actually escaped sanction for that, because it wasn't very good at all.
No, I mean, that's if there are to be yellow cards, that's one.
Ahmed Shaibu looking to take advantage up against Southam here. Pulls it across for Neo. Good stretch from Ulrich.
Yeah, it's a great interception there. Very, very important.
Here is Popovic. Gets away from Hal Paraskos. Sliding in. It's a kind of challenge as well that can lead to a few others biting in retaliation, can't it?
Yeah, it's one of those that inflames passions, isn't it?
Southam, that's got snow on it. Ulrich brought it down with a nicely balanced header. Here's Kelly looking for the run in Livermore again. Rosebarken is there. I was mentioning 3:45 this afternoon. Tuggeranong Woden next weekend is grand final weekend. Women's Premier League reserves to kick off the day, then men's under 23s grand final, top 4 final series, and then Women's Premier League and the men's grand final to round off proceedings. Big weekend of football from Deakin Stadium live on Bar TV Sports.
That's Saturday.
Saturday next week.
And then Sunday there's
Sunday we do it all again with the bottom 4, which will be interesting. This winners of this, another challenge from Kelly. Winners of this, if it's Monaro Panthers, say it's 11:15 kickoff on Sunday next week. Nice early one.
Yes.
Seems a bit odd, doesn't it? They play all the year at either 1:30 or 3:45.
What are the games after?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. It was supposed to be the NPL2 final, but that's been put back a week. So maybe they'll revisit the kickoff time for that one. We'll find out for you. Eli Howe with the free kick here, looking for Ahmed Shaibu. Got the pace and the confidence to get in the penalty area and try and deliver.
Good run. Goalkeeper's done well.
Gone early again, looking for Popovic. Played a lot of long balls today, haven't they, Canberra Olympic?
Yeah. Once again, I think that's they're just not confident enough to knock it around and play out from the back.
Tanoski, Ehegi, Popovic. That's better. Here's Asota Ehegi. Bit of momentum to this attack. Can he pick the right ball in? He can. Good one. And Rosebarken was superbly positioned to deal with the threat. It's not over yet, though. Kelly takes on Driscoll. The youngster sticking to his task and winning his team a throw. Lovely ball in from Ehegi.
Yeah, great move, actually. Great move. Probably the best we've seen from Olympic in this first half. Ehegi, again, looks more comfortable on that right-hand side, and he was able to take his fullback on. But Rosebarken to the rescue.
Tanoski into the box. Eli Howe doing the defending this time. And Olympic for the first time with a bit of concerted pressure. Can they turn it into a genuine chance? Kelly with the long throw, looking for Ulrich. Howe wins it. Dahl all alone just nods it down. Chris Ray picks it up. Southam. Sorensen, they're going backwards here. Kelly. Quick feet, gets him away from Niu. Keeps it in play. Still going, Kelly. Great run into the penalty area. Can he fire it across to Popovic? And Alpha Inc. deals with the danger. Superb run from Jay Kelly. Absolutely.
Wonderful skills. Got him in around 2 players, and then he's got a quality ball into the box. Unfortunately for Popovic, Alpha Inc.'s read it.
Dahl. 4 against 4 here. Ahmed Shaibu stretching the legs into the area. Fires it across goal. Just too heavy. Jervis Hamilton should recover, though. Rosebarken in support here. Time to decide what to do with it. Perhaps too much time. Jervis Hamilton cuts inside. Ulrich stands firm, and apparently that's a free kick.
Yep, but Lookman should have done better with the cross. He got in behind him at pace. There was people getting into the good areas of the penalty area, and he's really messed it up with the cross. But good signs from Monaro. Once again, behind Bailey Sorensen and just looking to threaten from that particular area.
Free kick, Sam Rosebarken over it. Plenty of Monaro Panthers shirts have made the journey into the penalty area. Can Rosebarken pick one out, swings it into the near post. Ehegi won it, and it's gone back to his own goal. Christus less than confident with the punch. Rosebarken pops it back from whence it came. Nick Dahl, too strong. Rosebarken, another chance to lift something into the box. Instead, he drives at the heart of the defence. And Ehegi can bring it away to Popovic. With firm challenge on Jay Kelly there, wasn't there, from Sam Rosebarken in amongst all that?
Absolutely. I mean, those are the sorts of challenges these days that referees look at with some concern, because it was sort of foot up rather than over the ball. It was studs up sort of thing. And
he let the one go down here. Gave the free kick but didn't get a card out, so maybe there's a bit of consistency there. Not ideal for Jay Kelly right now.
No, I don't think he'd be worried about the consistency at the moment.
Panthers have won 2 of the last 5 games that they've played against Canberra Olympic. Both of them, though, at O'Connor. which is not where we are today, of course.
No.
The Riverside Stadium. Looking resplendent.
Last year they actually turned them over comfortably at O'Connor.
Yeah, won 3-1. A brace from Josh Gillespie. Mickey Ronaldo scored on that as well in that match. Nick Popovich for Canberra Olympic. Olympic got their revenge here, 3-2 though. Another brace for Gillespie for the Panthers. Andrzej Janczewski with 2 for Olympic, and Nick Popovich on target again. Saw one this for Jay Kelly.
This is a bit of blow. This will be something that they would want to avoid if he can't continue.
Getting a bit of treatment out of shot, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to continue because he didn't put any weight on it. We'll keep an eye on that. They're playing with 10 at the moment. Jervis Hamilton steps in. Ulrich got an important touch, and then Popovich and Jenkins goes in, and Nick Popovich gets a yellow card, and maybe that's on final warning from the one over there.
That could have been a red now, couldn't it, if you'd have been booked in the first place? But that's, I mean, you've got to agree with the referee. That was a yellow card, Bill.
Does he, if he books him there, does he maybe let him off that one, though?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. They're down to 10 anyway, because Jay Kelly's still getting some treatments. Rosebucker with a free kick again. Last time caused a bit of consternation in the Olympic defence with the delivery. Can he do so again?
No.
Flatter one. Tarnowski was the one that deflected it. Kelly's still getting treatment, so it's not far from straightforward for him.
No.
Not one he doesn't look like he can shake off. Plenty of strapping going on that ankle.
Well, if they're strapping up, they must be thinking he'll come back on.
Well, the options on the bench: Gianni Corrigan, Stephen Dominici, or Zane McAlpine. And that's discounted Rory Larkin, who we know can play on the field, but I'll be surprised if he gets the nod. Jervis Hamilton finds Smith.
Went the wrong way. Should have picked that Neo.
Can Ray bring it away? Chance for Olympic. They're so open in the middle of that park. Swathes of space, isn't there? Yeah, Heggie.
Yeah.
Flag goes up, though, against Livermore. There seems to be no midfield on either side. It's just play from one end to the other. A bit basketball-like.
It's like watching Leeds.
Except with less goals. Going to see a change. Jay Kelly is not going to make this.
No.
And he does look in an awful lot of pain here. Out of your picture to the right, just seeing him getting a little bit of treatment. It's going to be a switch. Gianni Corrigan for his debut. For Kelly, another youngster on the park.
Is he pushed into fullback? Does that mean that Sorensen's going into a role further in midfield?
Looks like it from the setup there, doesn't it?
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, Gianni Corrigan to the right of the back four. Sorensen into midfield alongside Tarnowski. Little and large in there in terms of size. Smith straight down the middle. Ahmed Shaibu's got him behind here. Oh, look, when Ahmed Shaibu, can he finish? No, he can't. I think Christus got a paw on it.
He did.
Keeps his side in the competition.
It's a much better save than it was a finish. He's had 2 gilt-edge opportunities, and for a player of his quality, should have at least finished one of them. Probably both.
Went for the lob, didn't he? And may have got it right, but Christus stuck a hand up.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what he tried to do. It's just that he didn't execute efficiently.
They can't keep giving him these chances. Adam Nears swings it in towards Ahmed Shaibu, who was nearly there again. Now, can they bring it clear? Livermore's touch was a bit short. Paraskos wanted a piece, and here come Canberra Olympic with the break. Chris Ray striding forward. Jenkins across. He may have only succeeded in playing that in for Gianni Corrigan. The youngster wants to get on with it. Ray looking for Livermore in the middle.
The only one in there, and he nearly found it.
Dahl, now it's breaking to the other end with Ahmed Shaibu. Can he wait the pass? Smith's made the run, and Smith has gone a little too early.
Yeah,
pass was a little too late. It's just a bit behind Ahmed Shaibu, wasn't it? Got stuck under his feet.
Yeah, but Sam Smith could see that, and he's looking across the line. He really should have done better. But
your boys from Tuggeron waving to you from here. Cam Doherty, 103 matches. He's got another 90 minutes to try and find a goal this season.
90 minutes isn't long enough.
It's been a while for Cam Doherty, as in all his life. He will get there eventually, though. He's on penalties today, surely. Surely he's on penalties.
Should have taken one a couple of weeks ago.
Well, Andrew Slavic took one, didn't he? And we know how that came out.
Yep.
Unfortunate for Tuggeron. Here's Dahl. And he's found Jervis Hamilton. He's looking for his first NPL goal as well. Missed Jervis Hamilton. He almost got it.
Good save.
Christus with the save to the right.
Good save. Again, like you're saying, there's so much space in midfield, and there's one or two people on both sides that are just cheating and hanging forward, which, you know, in a game like this where there's not that much on it.
Making it entertaining for us, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Paraskos. A lovely ball from Rosebuck, and to get Paraskos in behind. Can he find a ball back? It's Ahmed Shaibu, lays it off. Real chance for Smith, brilliantly taken.
Yes.
Accurate finish, well built up from the Panthers. They're deservedly 2-0 up.
That's a lovely finish from Sam Smith and a well-constructed move. What a ball from Rosebuck and to find Paraskos. And then Lookman, very, very composed, doesn't panic, lays in Smith, who just tucks it in the corner with a neat finish. 2-0, and not anything less than they deserve.
It has been coming, hasn't it? And it's been coming for a long time. And the Panthers have a second, and they are, 1 foot in the bottom four final next week at the moment. This will put them on to 6 points, as I mentioned.
Doesn't quite ring, does it?
It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, no. Panthers won't care, though.
No.
Gets them another 90 minutes of football under their belt.
Well, I think, Panthers, whose season probably didn't go the way they wanted it to, finished at the bottom of the table after the first 7 rounds, and Woden, who looked like they might finish at the bottom at one stage, are the two teams that probably want the season to keep going because they've just turned a corner. So it'd make for a good final if it's Woden and Monaro.
Christus finds Ulrich. I was talking to Jimmy Canaridis before the game today, and he was saying he was channeling one of my comments about Sam Smith a couple of weeks ago, saying he's gone about 630 minutes without a goal. Now he's got 2 in 3 weeks. He's finding it both at that end. Hit the woodwork here twice as well in that time.
I do think he's suited to playing in the centre forward role, though. I think you can get him into areas he can finish. He's provided a lot of great service this year from the wide areas, and they haven't been able to take advantage of it. But today, and like you say, a couple of weeks ago, was it against Tuggeranong?
Good tidy finish there as well. First time into the corner, placed it rather than with power. It's a good advert for youngsters watching, isn't it? That you don't have to take the leather off the ball to find the back of the net.
No, pass it to the back of the net, as they say.
And we're coming up to the end of the first half. We will get a couple of minutes of injury time, of course. Jay Kelly is still down out of your picture, and it's definitely an ankle injury with him. Not good.
Olympic will be sick of the side of this place. Timmy Bobulus last week, his season was ended through concussion.
Rosebucken offside this time. Yeah, they'll be happy to see the end of the campaign, you'd think, with the amount of players that have been out injured.
Absolutely.
The list is huge. Nick Faust amongst that as well.
Daniel
Sparrow. Yeah, Daniel Sparrow dislocated his ankle. Or broke his ankle, I should say.
That was here as well, wasn't it?
That was at Melrose.
Melrose, yeah. Yeah.
In the 3-all. Ehegi in behind here. The 3-all with Gungalan. And they pick up a chance with probably their last attack of the first half to get some players forward and making inroads into this Panthers lead. A lead that is thoroughly deserved.
And probably should be 1 or 2 further ahead. But if they can score next, they're back in it.
Well, they've loaded the penalty area with plenty of shirts, and it almost found its way through to Chris Ray. It's going to come out to Sorensen, who lifts it back in. Popovic in front of the keeper, but the flag does go up. Thought it might.
Yeah, he was well off.
We're going to have that old cliche, aren't we, which 2-0 is the worst scoreline to go in with at half-time and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it is if you're 2-0 down.
Yeah, I've never. That's one of the football cliches that I've never understood.
It's got a history. 2-0's got a history.
Livermore looks for Popovic. Eli Howe under pressure. You'd always rather be 2-0 up than 0-0, though, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Inside the penalty area, Chris Ray, Popovic. Just too many shirts, crowds him out. Eli Howe can bring it away, and that'll do it for the first half, says Shane Lyson-Smith. The first half in which the Panthers have been fairly dominant, and it's showing on the scoreboard, 2-0 up. And as we said, Ahmed Shaibu's had a brace of chances which he probably should have taken. We've seen Eli Howe miss a really good headed opportunity, and Stevie, I mean, without being disrespectful to Olympic, it could be 4.
Probably should be. Certainly Monaro have been the dominant force within the first 45 minutes. 2 goals probably doesn't accurately reflect their dominance, but nonetheless, what we do at half-time, what we got at half-time is a game that's still in the balance to a certain extent. but Olympic will need to come out and do a little bit better than what they've done in the first half in an attacking sense. And Monaro, I think if they want to put this game to bed, probably need to start being a little bit more clinical with the chances.
Well, if Canberra Olympic want to play in the final next week, they're going to need to find some goals after the break, 3 of them, or at least 2, to get themselves back into it, because at half-time here at the Riverside, they're on the wrong end of the scoreline. An own goal from Bailey Sorensen early on, a second from Sam Smith late on, and at the break, it's Canberra Olympic 0, Monaro Panthers 2. Welcome back to the Riverside Stadium, second half of this NPL Bottom 4 Final Series. At the break, Panthers leading Olympic 2-0. I'm Russ Gibbs, commentator. Steve Forshaw with me. Steve, just checked with the referees as well and looked at the replay. Did a disservice to Bailey Sorensen and Adam New, because it was Adam New who volleyed that finish in. We couldn't really see from our angle, could we?
No.
And it's good, actually, because I'd rather it wasn't an own goal.
Yeah, I think everybody would. And, apologies to Bailey if we got it wrong.
Yeah, apologies to Adam New as well, because that's his third of the season. And he's scored now in 3 successive weeks. So he's on
return. Yeah.
He's on fire at the moment. His team are on fire. They're 2-0 up, and they could well be more ahead as well. Lukman Ahmed Shaibu has had a couple of good chances. So's Eli Howell with a header from a corner. If they continue to play like they did like that in the first half, no doubt they will get a few more opportunities.
Yes, they will. Really important now for Olympic to come out with a very positive attitude. If they, if they run up the white flag, then this could turn out to be a cricket score. But the likes of, like we've said, with Popovic, Heggie, a few others. I mean, obviously Kelly going off doesn't help, but they've still got firepower that they can get themselves back into this game, but they'll need to do it rather quickly.
They need their older heads to stand up and be counted in the second half. James Christus in goal. The back four, as we look at it, Corrigan, Ulrich, Southam and Brown. Very young looking midfield involving Bailey Sorensen, Christian Tanoski and Chris Ray. The front three, Tyson Livermore, Heggie and Popovic. So some names that might not be familiar to you out there if you watch a lot of NPL football. It looks like the Panthers are as they were at the moment, are they? It doesn't look like, or maybe they're making a change. Look around their team. How many have they got out there, Steve? Looks like exactly the same 11, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
We're waiting. What are we waiting for? Waiting for Jimmy Canarides to get over there onto the bench.
And Eli Howe's missing, so maybe they are making a change.
Yeah, it looks like Ed McCarthy is getting changed and coming on.
Yeah.
A bit later than advertised. So he's come on for, looks like Howell then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Seems to be missing, so that'll be a bit of a reshape as well, won't it?
Well, he's come straight out here to the left-hand side, which is his more natural position, so interesting to see what they do.
Well, Driscoll maybe goes back in the centre-back alongside Jenkins.
That's looking more than likely.
And McCarthy may well be playing left-back. Eli Howe's here now, and now he's just in front of us, just confirming the substitution. I think they confused the officials as well.
Yeah. Harsh, isn't it? You miss one header.
Where's he gone? 45 minutes then between Panthers and a place in the final at Deakin in the bottom 4 final series. Who they will play will be up in the air until the end of the Woden Tuggeron game, unless Canberra Olympic can find 3 points. An unlikely 3 points, it would seem at the moment, but they have quality. They need to start brightly. Tanoski looking for Popovic to do just that. Tyson Livermore on the run into the penalty area, whips it across, and Jenkins forced onto the back foot within the opening 20 seconds.
Great signs in some senses for Olympic that they got in behind, but once again, only here in the box. The rest of the players from behind were making no sort of urgent run to get on the end of that, and that's not a good sign from an Olympic point of view.
Livermore's left the corner for Corrigan on debut as well. Swings it in. That's a good one too. Might fall for Southam on the far post. Can he fizz it back across goal? He could. I think it struck Paraskos. Corner on the other side.
This is sort of a mirror image of what happened in the first half with a series of corners from Monaro. Olympic looking to take advantage of their own pressure.
The last thing the Panthers will want to do is concede in the opening couple of minutes. Half-time team talk out the window. Towards the far post. Southam coming in. It's hit New. Half cleared. It might fall for Ray. Not got a piece of that at all. Ahmed Shaibu smashes it up the park. Park and Mitch Jervis Hamilton will chase.
He's been quite handy in the first half. Jarvis Hamilton. He's looked very tidy.
He's always been a willing runner, hasn't he? And he always gives an outlet, even if it seems a fairly hopeless cause on some occasions. Southam. Corrigan. Nicely done.
Yeah, nice combination.
In the middle, Sorensen and Corrigan. Driscoll, another youngster. At the back for the Panthers. Livermore cuts inside, still going. Tyson Livermore looked for Popovic. Might have thought about taking that on himself, the youngster. Adam New, who did open the scoring. Tarnowski, chance here. Ososo Ahegi, flag stays down, tried to pick out Popovic in the middle.
Must do better. I mean, that's a wonderful opportunity wasted. And it's probably summing up Ososo Ahegi's season this year. He's just not been quite there.
Sharp, Ososo Ahegi may well be cutting back inside and hitting that.
Well, he certainly wouldn't be passing it back to the keeper like he did. It was very poor on his behalf.
Paraskos caught by Popovic.
Wow.
Advantage played here.
He's already
Popovic,
on a yellow card.
I wonder if they'll revisit that. McCarthy, his first involvement. I think Nick Popovic is going to get away with it.
Very lenient, this referee.
He's let a few things go, hasn't he? Mostly involving Nick Popovic.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather see the game play 11v11, but there's a limit.
Well, Popovic does have a yellow card. The only one of the day. Paraskos finds McCarthy. Tried to feed it on to Nick Dahl, but defensive work from Corrigan was good.
Part of the reason that people are finding so much space in midfield is because, certainly from an Monaro perspective, all three midfielders are pushing high. See Nicky Dahl in the penalty area now.
Trying to force his way past Southam. Good strength from the Olympic central defender to hold off Nick Dahl. Now, can they break? Livermore. First touch was good, second less so. Fighting with Ed McCarthy, and there's a little bit of afters as well down here between McCarthy and Livermore. Olympic getting on with it. Tarnowski finds Popovic. Taking on Driscoll, who stands strong and wins his team a goal kick. Fair to say, a little bit happened there, didn't it, with McCarthy and Livermore? It was just a little bit of handbags.
He's actually looked like he's got something about him, this Livermore. He's built for speed by the looks of him, and his touch has been rather good. He just lets himself down every now and then by hanging on to it for a bit too long.
Certainly confident.
Yeah.
Tarnowski, Olympic started the second half well. And they've got themselves a free kick in a dangerous position right in the centre of the park, perhaps on the edges of shooting territory for Kiki Tarnowski. I'm sure he might fancy this one. Nathan Alfrink needs to line up his wall, and I think Tarnowski is going to go for goal.
Yeah. Takes something special to get him back into it. This could be it.
4 in the wall. Tarnowski looking to go up and over. It's dipping, and it was always over the crossbar, though. It didn't have enough up and down.
No. I mean, it's a long way out to be hitting it with the instep. It didn't trouble the goalkeeper at all.
Good 5 minutes this for Olympic, though, at the start.
Yeah, they've started well. They've started well, but they need to sort of keep it up now.
Well, 2-0, as you know, Steve. not even going to finish. Smith going to flick it forwards. Corrigan sliced that towards his own goal. Southam's 50-cent head, that was. Smith down towards Jervis Hamilton.
Incredible passage of play there. I don't think anybody got a good contact.
Yeah, about 3 slices, wasn't there? Bad header, and ends up with
more slices than a cake shop.
Oh, we've missed that, Steve.
Your aim will improve.
Nick Dahl takes over in midfield. Twist, and is fouled by Tarnowski. Free kick in a good position, this, for the Panthers. Options from this angle. Could go with the right foot at goal, or might just lift it into the area. Sam Smith, we know, has got a thunderbolt drive on him.
Yeah, I think, if I'm making the decision, it's a left foot and get it to the back post if they've got a left footer in the team.
Well, not listening to you, because Sam Smith's lining this one up, and I think he's got eyes for goal. Christus on his toes. We saw Tarnowski at the other end. What can Smith do? Well, not much better. No bend on it.
Well, that was right foot to the far post.
It was neither a cross nor a shot in the end, was it? No. And we know Sammy Smith can do so much better than that. Saw him in pre-season here. Absolutely lamper free kick at this end to the right end and crashed off the crossbar. I mean, good job that it hit the crossbar. It might still have been traffic. Landed in my garden in Gugong. He hit it that hard.
Well, he hit that one pretty hard, but it came back off the back fence.
If days gone by, that would have been in the river, halfway to Canberra by now. So Panthers looking to reassert their authority, and that's a good free kick from Rosbach, and it's found Smith. Lifted in towards Adam Neer and sliced it.
Same as his free kick, goal kick.
Not the best of starts to the second half for Sam Smith.
Just seem to have weathered the storm a little bit. Olympic have had that good 5 or 6 minute start, and Monaro just getting themselves back into it a little bit. Quickly taken free kick helps.
What do you do if you're Jimmy Canarides here? Do you sit on it because you're 2-0 up, or do you just keep playing?
Just keep playing. Just keep playing.
Popovic in behind. Can he smack it at goal here? Goes for the angle. Still going. And Alpha Rink twice
did well.
Him.
Yeah, it did well. But Popovic is a threat. There is no doubt about it. But I think if you decided at this stage, 7 or 8 minutes into the second half, that you're just going to sit on it, it'll be costly. So just keep playing. You might be a little bit more conservative in possession, not being as direct as they've been in the first half, but by and large, you're looking for a third and a fourth if you can get it.
Corrigan will take the corner. He's had a couple from this side already. Good delivery again into the danger area. It's going to fall for Southam. Blocked by Nick Dahl, and Smith will no doubt send this away.
Yeah, that's where I think you've got to hang on to possession if you can. I know there wasn't a lot of options for him, but just a welly-head forward isn't going to help.
Well, he's played the world's longest 1-2 with himself there. Free kick to the Olympic. And a chance for Tarnowski to load in. It's been a bit bitty the start of this second half. There's been a few free kicks. Not many forward here for Olympic, only 3 at the moment. Brown lifts it towards the far post. Ulrich was the target. And Livermore will get on with it with the throw, or will he leave it to Corrigan?
Not sure that they're good signs for Olympic if you're only putting 3 forward from a set piece when you're 2-0 down. It's almost like we'll go through the motions and get this over. And they've had a good start to the second half.
Tarnowski's come into it more in the second period.
Very important for him. Need to get him on the ball, let him start spraying passes around, and they might just get something out of it.
Southam exchanging passes with his goalkeeper, Christus. Made a good save in the first half, didn't he?
Yep.
From Ahmed Shaibu's header.
He did, yeah, very good save.
Other than that, Ahmed Shaibu had 2 good chances as well. On another day, might have been celebrating a hat-trick.
He certainly should have got one of the chances that he had. A bit unlucky with the header, good save, but he should have scored with the other 2. But he didn't, and we're still 2-0, and the game goes on.
As I say, I mean, he had the one-on-one which he lobbed over, which Christus saved, and then there was the one that fell for him 7 yards out, put over the crossbar. And the header was probably the best connection he made, wasn't it?
Yes, probably.
Threatening a goal.
It looks like he could get one. I don't think that he's had his last chance of this game. Once again, Sammy Smith's doing all the running by himself.
Doing some doggies up front. Popovic looks to lay it off. It's going to fall for McCarthy. New. Smith.
Well done.
Here is Ahmed Shaibu. Mitch Jervis Hamilton in loads of space if he can find him. Ahmed Shaibu going alone. And Southam at the corner, and a little bit of an apology there from Lukman Ahmed Shaibu. Yeah. Mitch Jervis Hamilton was clean through, wasn't he?
He was, and he kept himself on side too. He did the right thing, held his run up, waiting for that ball, and he really just needed that first time left footer, and he was in.
He'd love a goal, Mitch Jervis Hamilton. 31 Premier League games before today without one. Regular scorer in the lower grades.
Well, he looks to have something about him, doesn't he?
Neil with the corner. First of the second half, the Panthers, Ahmed Shaibu leapt highest, and Tarnowski's got the contact there. He's got a good vertical leap, hasn't he?
Yeah. But the corners just lack a little bit.
Oh, mess up at the back here in Livermore. Real chance on debut for Tyson Livermore, and he went for the special chip, and it didn't quite work out for him. Another chance goes begging.
Yeah, I mean, he won't want to see that again on his highlights reel. You can see what he was trying to do, and probably not a bad option, but realistically, he's got to score there.
Might not get a better chance in first grade to open his account. That was a really good opportunity.
Pretty sloppy defending to create the opportunity.
Dreadful defending, wasn't it, to be honest? Parascos trod on the ball.
Well, it looked like 2 of them run into each other.
Got away with one there.
Yep, dodged a bullet, as they say.
Heggie Brown lifts it forward. Popovic in behind again. Driscoll should be able to shepherd this back to Alferink. Or just teasing Nick Popovic there, Nathan Alferink. Stood up well, to be fair, didn't he? He made Livermore make the decision.
Yeah.
And it was the decision that Nathan Alferink wanted. Meanwhile, here's Smith, and he stayed on side. Cal Brown with him. Smith trying to use his strength to get past the young fullback, who stood up strong with that and gets a free kick, a little shirt pull.
Absolutely wasted. Sammy Smith, just some of his decision making leaves a bit to be desired. Just keep possession. Turn out, play roast back, and then you're still a chance of creating something.
Well, they've seen out the first 13 minutes. Tarnowski looking for Popovic over the top again. Alferink happy to see that skip on off the surface.
Yeah, good starting position for the keeper. He was always favourite to win that.
You haven't seen Canberra Olympic play this many long balls for a long time. Looking for Popovic in over the top. Ahmed Shaibu. Tarnowski got a toe on it. Both teams quite high, aren't they, in the defensive line?
Yeah, there's not much difference, not much distance between the two back lines. It's all sort of a midfield battle.
Tarnowski. Jenkins with a brave header. Ahmed Shaibu leaves it for Jervis Hamilton. Tries to squeeze it over Corrigan.
But the right ball will split these defences one way or the other. If they can just get somebody on the ball that can play that penetrating pass, they're a chance.
Driscoll.
Shot on target.
And just lamps it forward, doesn't he? A reminder coming up, 3:45, Tuggeranong versus Woden Western. At the moment there is something on that game. Woden Western just need to avoid a heavy defeat, and they will be in the bottom four final series grand final decider.
Without willing to jinx them, I fancy Woden to win that.
Dahl, we'll wait and see what teams they put out. I understand that Tuggeranong are going to have a little bit of an experiment as well. Here's Dahl inside the penalty area. Just took his eye off it for a moment.
And wasn't best pleased with his first touch, was he?
May have picked that up on the effects. The latest score in the women's semi-final, it's Gungahlin 1, Belconnen United 1, so not much to choose between those two at the moment.
No. Not been the same sort of season for Belconnen's women's team as it has been under Anthony Jagaranak, but I'm sure that with a little bit of luck they can still pick up some silverware.
Aaron Cashman comes on for Dimitri Paraskos. Been around a fair bit, Aaron Cashman.
Had a good season, actually, when I've seen him play. I know he hasn't been a regular starter, but when he has played, he's looked decent. And I think he'll provide that little bit of midfield discipline rather than bombing on that we've had from Monaro up till now.
Got an update from that women's semi-final. Belconnen United, a couple of minutes before half-time, Belconnen 3, Gungahlin 1, Belconnen down to 10. Send-off. So Gungahlin 2 goals behind, but with a half to try and find a way back against 10.
Against 10 men. 3-1's a good lead to have.
Swung into the penalty area. Ulrich knocks it away. Panthers looking for a third here. Smith trying to provide it. Blocked by Jenkins.
Poor option.
Driscoll got a foot in. McCarthy. Jenkins.
Yeah.
Good ball that to Ahmed Shaibu. Tries to get away from Ulrich in the penalty. Ahmed Shaibu fires it goalwards, but the strength was taken off the shots by his former roommates.
Yeah. Safely into the hands of Christus. But a good ball in, good penetrating pass, and that's more like it from the Panthers.
Brown stabs it forwards. Dahl goes wide to Jervis Hamilton and
offside, was he?
Adam Niu. Demoski keeps the flag down, swings it in towards Ahmed Shaibu, and Southam needed to deal with it because the American forward was looking for a tap-in. Corner.
I'm not sure Mr. Ulrich was best pleased with that decision from the linesman.
They've gone short, and Olympic are asleep here. Jervis Hamilton lifts it into the area. Panthers forwards are asleep as well, unfortunately for them. Smith recovers the situation. McCarthy helps it on its way. Back to Smith again from Jenkins. Good ball that too to Adam Niu. He's got Jervis Hamilton outside. Goes for goal himself.
Again, wrong option. Had to play Jervis Hamilton. They were in again. Just wasting some really good opportunities at the moment through poor option selection.
McCarthy. Livermore putting the pressure on again. So when he gets in flight, there's something about him, isn't there?
Yeah.
He gets the jet heels on. Popovic. Nice turn. Has to do it on himself. Nearly did so. Claims McCarthy. Smith.
He'd be disappointed with himself. He had a really opportunity to get that under control and then bring other people into play. Mind you, he's been doing doggies for the last 30 minutes, so he might be just feeling the pinch a bit.
Made 2 changes. They've got Ben Bassasilk and J. James Ward. Here's Ahmed Shaibu. Looking to see if he can pick the pass. Decent knock wide to Rosebarken. Heggie belatedly back to help out. Nick Dahl. Rosebarken. Nice touch that from Jervis Hamilton. Here's a real opportunity for Dahl. Can he square it? Smith, real chance, 3-0. Brilliant execution from the Panthers. They've carved Olympic open, and that might well be the goal that seals their place in the bottom 4 final next week.
Yeah, it should be. It's well constructed. Lovely little third man run from Nicky Dahl, and then got his head up, stayed composed, picked out Sammy Smith, and all he had to do was find the target, and he did with some aplomb. So, yeah, good goal. And 3-0 probably not only seals it, but underlines just how dominant Monaro have been.
Wonderful in its creation and clinical in its execution. The Panthers are purring, and they're 3-0 to the goods. And it is a long, long way back for Canberra Olympic from here.
Yeah, I hope they just don't drop their heads and make it a sort of procession. I think they need to sort of find a little bit of energy, a little bit of enthusiasm.
Ahmed Shaibu. Smith. Ahmed Shaibu. Confidence coursing through the veins, as you'd expect now from the Panthers. Sorensen. Under pressure. Not been a good weekend for Canberra Olympic. Under 23s knocked out of the final series yesterday.
Again, Popovic, another foul. What's the what? I mean, I don't suppose he cares now, but he doesn't want to be missing games next year, does he?
Well, he'd only get the one, wouldn't he?
Probably serve that in a friendly anyway, would he? Pre-season?
You can serve it in a friendly.
Yeah.
A few of them have done it this year. But yeah, he wants to be careful, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, you don't want to leave these young boys to play with 10 men 3-0 down. Do the right thing by them.
Livermore. Been a bit of an excitement machine when he's been on the ball. Can he create something for his team? Certainly not lacking in confidence, and he was looking for the run of Ray.
Oh.
Smith has asked a fair effort from McCarthy, who did well to keep it in.
You'd be telling everybody you meant that.
Tarnowski. Just wonder if some frustration will start to set in amongst this Olympic side.
Yeah, I hope not.
Stephen Dominici and Zane McAlpine, their options on the bench. Dominici got a quad injury last week. I'm not sure he's 100%, but they're really short of numbers. Couldn't call on any of the under-18s that we saw last week either, because they're playing this afternoon. So people like James Crawford and Ben Carling, that Will Buckmaster, that all played last week, unavailable today.
And they're a shout for the semi-finals in that comp, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe they are. As it is, Panthers 3-0 up. Sam Smith hadn't scored a goal this season before the finals. Has got 3-2 now. Or 3-3 rather.
Good double today, taking them well. And he's worked hard.
Tarnowski, Ihegi. Jenkins looks to lift it forward. Madam New is miles offside. Easiest decision of the season for Delphina Demoski.
Yeah, she was well placed for that.
Even we saw that.
Yeah.
Big week, of course, for the officials next week as well in the grand final. They'll all be waiting anxiously by the inbox this week to see who's got the nod for the big game.
Who'd you pick?
So the referee, the big one? I don't pick these things, Frank. Frank?
Oh,
Steve.
Frank!
There it is, that's the first one.
That's a coffee.
Oh, he bought you one, didn't I?
Under pressure.
Under pressure, absolutely. There's been some good refs this season. We'll come back to that in a bit as Jervis Hamilton is in. Chance for him to pull it back to Smith.
Looking for his hat-trick.
Fires it across goal, and Christus was there. In terms of referees, you've got Delphine Demoski's had a good season. Georgia Girardella's done well as well. Nathan Shakespeare, of course, in the mix. Bruno Kell, obviously, will be there or thereabouts as well.
I fancy, given the breakthrough this year of the females in all three officials at one game this year, that they might fancy Delphina or Georgia doing a grand final.
Yeah, Georgia Girardelli did one of the men's final series and let the game flow really well. Whoever gets it, I'm sure, will do a great job. I think there's a fourth official on those games as well. And I believe they have their referee's tradition of they have to eat a Kransky or something if you're the fourth official.
Is that right?
Something along those lines, yeah. I can't really remember what it was, but something about eating a Kransky before the game if you're the fourth. Yeah, I can't.
Be lucky to get one in these COVID-restricted times.
Well, that's one thing you can assure yourself of that you will find at Deakin Stadium if you look hard enough. There's always a Kransky to be had, or a Chavapi roll. Had one yesterday.
Did you now?
It was very nice indeed. Wasn't very good for my diet, to be fair. Had a no sugar Coke though, so that probably makes sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this time of year, Kranskys are calorie free.
Corrigan driving forwards. A little nutmeg on Driscoll. Just a little too heavy. Again, though, nice to see the ambition from the young substitutes.
I think the younger players, and to be fair, so Popovic as well, they're actually maintaining a level of intensity that's commensurate with the standard of the competition. So, full credit to them.
If you can hear the music, that's Woden Western getting ready for their game in front of us.
Country and Western, did you say?
Not sure. Smith, good touch. Here's a chance for McCarthy. He's in the air. Real opportunity. McCarthy, brilliantly taken. Ed McCarthy opened it up and just thrashed it into the bottom corner. And the Panthers just keep rolling. That's 4-0.
Yeah, lovely finish. Tucked it in the near post. Gave young James Christus no chance with that. And Olympic are looking just a little ragged now. They look like this is just one bridge too far.
Got to be careful here. They cop an absolute hiding. They're already getting one, and it could be a lot worse. There's plenty of time left. There's still 20 minutes to play. It's 4-0. Ed McCarthy scores his 8th Premier League goal, his first of the season. Not bad from left back.
No.
Is better known as a forward as well, though, Ed McCarthy. He started his career a bit further up the park.
He's actually a player that over the last 2 or 3 years I've admired, because he does have some nice touches and he's got a good left foot, but today he's taken his goal well. He does weigh in with goals, as you say, but he's taken that really well.
Well, you feel the question is now, how many do Panthers want? More than anything. Talking to Jimmy Canaridis, as I said beforehand, he did feel that someone was going to cop a hiding at some stage with this Panthers outfit. Yeah,
you couldn't get too carried away, because this is not the sort of Olympic side that we're used to seeing, but to be fair, you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what Monaro have done today. I mean, the chances they missed in the first half suggested that there was more goals to come, and they have in the second half. And with 20 minutes to go, you can't see that the scoring will stop now.
Jenkins.
But there's one or two in blue shirts that are just having a bit of a walk now.
Rosbakken. Here's Jervis Hamilton in behind, flooding forward in numbers again. Can he find the right cross? It's come back off the post. I think it hit Sanoski.
Yeah, it would have been an own goal, I think. But
definitely an own goal, that one, if it had gone in. Christus. There's that curse of the woodwork I was talking to you about beforehand. Adam New. Ahmed Shaibu this time, and he's in. Chance for him to fire it goalwards, and Southam just does enough to put him off.
Yeah, he has Neo available. He should really pull that across.
Really is.
James Ward coming on, I think. Gets 20 minutes. He's got a goal in him too.
Scored this season. Only his first goal at this level, James Ward, against the Tigers.
Was it Tiger in the 2-1 loss?
Opened the scoring in that one.
Yeah.
Adam Neo goes off, and he can be happy with his goal that we didn't give him in the first half. Yeah. Apologies to that, Adam. And 3-3 for him, so he'll be hoping to get another one at Deakin Stadium next Sunday. You could just see that the heads have gone down a little bit here from Canberra Olympic, hasn't it? Yeah,
it's going to be a long 20 minutes for them if they can't sort of pick themselves up. And it's the senior players have got to sort of finish the game off for them. They can't just drop their heads and hope that the kids will carry it.
Well, if you're going to have a poor season, which it has been by their standards, this is the year to do it, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
There's James Ward to Dahl. There's plenty of talent in this Olympic team, and I'm sure Robbie Catanach and his group will regroup over the summer and come back stronger next year. But this is good for the league. The Panthers, hopefully, if they keep a fair crop of this talent as well. Rosebakken swings it in.
Yeah, there's a little bit... well done.
And McCarthy, super skills. Can he fire it across? Real chance here. Can it be turned in? Here's a chance for Jervis Hamilton, and somehow he still waits for that first goal. I think Christus saved it. Livermore at the other end looks for Popovic. It looked easier to score, didn't it? I'm not sure how Christus has saved that.
Well, I think it was probably the wrong option from Jarvis Hamilton, but you can't blame him for having a dig. But I think it did. I think it came off Christus and sort of span away to be cleared. But there's one or two chances within that sort of 30 or 40 seconds that Monaro will look at and think we should have scored again.
And another little glimpse of what Ed McCarthy can bring.
Lovely, throwing down the line.
Skill.
Yeah.
Cashman gets it back. Can he pick a pass? Smith's made the run and he's onside here. Got in behind. Sam Smith in on a hat-trick. Can he finish it? No, he can't, because Christus denies him. Good save by the goalkeeper, but it's just getting a bit ragged at the back for Olympic, and the Panthers sensing blood.
And that was... I'm taking a shot here because it's my hat-trick when he could have played in Lookman.
McCarthy's only been 2 hat-tricks in the men's NPL this year.
Christus.
Kisha for
Kista, I mean.
Oh, hang on, we'll come back to that in a second as Darwin in. Emilia Kista for
and Dominici.
Croatia, and Stephen Dominici against Tuggeranong United at the AIS. Plenty of players got 2 and threatened to go on, but not added to that tally. It's an injury here to Bailey Sorensen. Is that down in the middle of the park?
Not sure.
Wonder if we're going to see some more subs for Canberra Olympic.
How many have they made? Just the 2?
They've made the 1 so far. Gianni Corrigan. Zane McAlpine is stripped off and looks like he might be getting an NPL debut as well. So there'll be another young boy coming on. Stephen Dominici is their other substitutes.
I don't think I'd be risking Dominici.
Doesn't seem to be.
He's not going to come on and get 5, is he?
Well, you wouldn't think so. Be some cameo if he does, wouldn't it, with 15 minutes to go. Half-time in the women's semi-final. Buchanan lead 3-1 against Gungahlin. Down to 10, though.
Do you know who got sent off? No?
I don't yet. I'll have to try and find out. Not ideal for them, especially because it'll be a suspension for next week.
Yeah. That change has been made, I think.
McAlpine coming on for debut.
It's the same name as the Huddersfield Town home ground, I think.
It is, I've been there. Bailey Sorensen going off. Yeah, I've been to the McAlpine Stadium in Huddersfield. A friend of mine who was a Port Vale fan made me go.
Well, it's better than going to Port Vale.
That is true. In the potteries there. Ahmed Shaibu. Smith. Ahmed Shaibu. Tanoski. Jay Ward. Smith on that treble. Tries to find Ahmed Shaibu. Jervis Hamilton. James Ward. Sam Rosebakken is making the extra man on the overlap, and it's his cross. Just too high. But they've just got numbers wherever they look now, haven't they, the Panthers?
Yeah. That's the sort of composed play that they've sort of missed throughout the year. You know, Jaden Walls just gets to wait for the run from Rosebakken, and then they get the cross in. The cross wasn't up to standard, but it was the right idea.
Ulrich spreads it wide. Popovic. When I was talking to Jimmy about the fact that someone called Good Copper hiding off this Panthers team at some stage, and jokingly said, "Oh, it could be 7-0 today." And to be honest,
it could have been.
It could have been, and I'm not sure he actually meant that. But if it did turn out to get 3 in the last 10 minutes, we'll be asking him for the lottery numbers, won't we?
Absolutely. I hope it doesn't blow out for the Olympics' sake, but
well, these youngsters deserve something, don't they? They've put a lot of effort into it, and well, hopefully they can find a way on the score sheets. Livermore, who's certainly been a bright spark. Corrigan as well since he's come on. Popovic. Tanoski. Corrigan. around the corner to McAlpine. His first touch of first grade, and McCarthy, the other side of Ed McCarthy. Silky skills at one end, no nonsense defending at the other.
You know, just in respect of Olympic, it's not that the players have been poor in terms of technique and in terms of quality. It's just that they've just lacked that little bit of experience, and Monaro perhaps been a little bit hungrier.
Yeah, Heggie tried to find McAlpine. It finds its way to Ray instead. Checks back, invites Corrigan to deliver towards Popovic on the far post, always leaning backwards under pressure from Rose Barkin, who's got no idea where the ball was. Very calmly done, Sam Rose Barkin. Jervis Hamilton, flick and go, and tries to show his pace, and he's done well there to get away from Brown and retrieve possession as well. He's had a good match this afternoon, and that's a good ball too to find Nick Dahl, but the flag goes up.
Hey, Nicky.
Looking along the line, Coach Killer.
Doesn't matter what level you play at, that just should never happen.
Happens far too regularly, doesn't it? Ray in midfield. Corrigan. Credit to Olympic, they're still battling. Heggie's touch, Cashman was there. Driscoll fighting away with 3 Olympic players, and it's a foul by Heggie. 3:45 for Woden Western versus Tuggeranong United. Grand finals next week, all on Bar TV Sports, home of grassroots football in Australia. Ball through for Smith, and he's away again here. There's a bit of afters. Smith doesn't care, pulls it back himself, looking for Ahmed Shaibu. There's a Panthers player down in a heap there. Is it Sam Rosebarkin? I think was caught.
Caught as he played it, yeah. He's up and about, I think.
Didn't see who did it, did you?
No.
Was too busy following the run of Sammy Smith. Getting in behind. What if he will get this hat-trick? He's got 10 minutes to find it. Yellow card for Lasse Ulrich, I believe.
Must have been him that got the late challenge in, was it?
Well, that's his 3rd yellow card of the season. For what that's worth. Just left her foot in to try and block the ball, I think, and plenty on Rosebarkin. Well, looks like Stephen Dominici is stripped off and ready to come on to perform the rescue act. With 10 minutes to go.
Looks like he's brought the wrong socks.
He's in the white socks, isn't he? Yeah. Could have borrowed the other half of Lasse Ulrich's. Likes to play with his socks rolled down, the Danish midfielder, centre-back. Corrigan. Southam. Tanoski. Depends how pedantic the ref is, might not let Dominici on with those socks on.
Yeah, I guess. Oof.
J. James Ward. Will flick to Cashman. James Ward again, he hasn't seen it, Heggie. Got a late call. Dahl. Smith. He's caught late by Popovic again, and surely Nick Popovic is going to walk.
Yep.
He's had so many chances this afternoon. That is red card has been coming for a fair old time, hasn't it? And Canberra Olympics discipline, which has been dreadful all season. Before today, they've had 22 yellow cards now, 5 temporary dismissals, and now 2 red. And Nick Popovic has been walking a tightrope for most of this one, and it snapped.
Well, he might have been just a tad lucky to stay on in the first half, but a series of fouls since then have meant red card. And if the rumours that are floating around Canberra at the end of the season, that could well be his last game for Olympic.
We'll wait and see. There's always plenty of chat over the summer months about who might be going where and when.
Yeah, and most of it's rumour and unsubstantiated.
Well, Tanoski's down as well. He's not happy. Stephen Dominici is going to join us for the last 9 minutes or so. Maybe it will be for Tanoski. who's worked hard in midfield.
And suddenly he got blue socks.
He's found a pair.
Hey?
That pretty much, though, sums up Canberra Olympic season, doesn't it? That kind of passage of play. They've lost 2 senior players within the space of 35 seconds. One with a cramping up injury and one to a red card.
Yes, it's not been a season that they'll look on with any sort of fondness. And this is an opportunity, not just today but the last 3 weeks, was to build some momentum going into next year, re-establish yourself with some credibility for a club that has been one of the major forces within the local competition, and basically it's just gone from bad to worse. And part of that problem, Russ, is, as you allude to, the discipline's not been good enough.
Something to work on over the summer months, and maybe a rebuilding process for Robbie Katnach, and some new players and some new blood to go with these youngsters.
Yeah, there's some potential there, but they need to bring 1 or 2 players in to help them re-establish themselves as a top 4 team.
Livermore, I think it's fair to say we wouldn't mind seeing more of this kid. The bright spark.
No, certainly on today's performance.
Well, Corrigan's tied himself up in knots. McCarthy looks to slide it through to Jervis Hamilton. That's a nicely weighted ball to Sam Smith as well. Onto that right foot, wins his team a corner. Cale Brown defended that well. Into the final 7 minutes plus stoppage time. Canberra Olympic 0, Monaro Panthers 4. If I told you that at the start of the season, you might have laughed at me.
Yeah.
Smith with the corner. Swings it into the near post. Nodded clear. Only as far as Nick Dahl, who lines one up from range. And that one is down towards the river. We'll stick on the hill at the back there. So it's not ideal for Canberra Olympic, Steve, and it's, the result notwithstanding. What does Robbie Katnach take from this performance?
Well, I think he'll look for some positives with the younger players. He knows that if he can keep hold of some of the senior players that are there, the Dominicis, the Ulrichs, Popoviches, Kellys, if he can hang on to them, then he can build a team around those looking forward. You've mentioned Livermore, and he's looked okay. Need to see more of him, obviously, but I think he'll also be thinking that we need to sort of strengthen in certain areas from outside the club. We need to bring in 1 or 2 players, not a lot, but they'll need to bring in 1 or 2 players, and I'm sure they'll look to try and do that over the off-season. But he won't be too disappointed with the enthusiasm, at least, of some of the younger players that he brought in, and I think that's a positive for them.
Yeah, with the possibility of relegation looming over the NPL next year, I'm sure there will be plenty of movements, plenty of clubs looking to strengthen, and with the NPL2, as I say, the possibility of promotion and relegation, they might be strengthening players from first grade as well. So it's going to be a really interesting 2021.
Absolutely. It'll be very, very competitive. The marketplace will be competitive. And
Jenkins striding forward.
There'll be lots of teams looking to, as you say, strengthen. And a lot will depend on what happens with the coaches as well.
We had a bit of a merry-go-round of coaches at the start of the season. Lots of clubs with new men at the helm. I'm sure we're going to see a few more as well.
Not unusual for local football for there to be a little bit of a circus at the end of September.
Southam finds Corrigan. Ray under pressure. Cashman. Ahmed Shaibu. Prods it to James Ward. Jervis Hamilton.
Ball.
Across the penalty area. Here's Smith.
Oh, my God.
Took his eye off it for a second. Has retrieved the situation. James Ward. Ulrich sticks the chest out.
I think it was his chest. Otherwise, they've dodged a bullet because it could well have been his arm.
Here's McAlpine. Hasn't quite got himself into the game yet, and that's asking a fair bit of Livermore. McCarthy back there covering for Monaro. Into the final 5 minutes of a game which has been dead and buried since the third.
Yeah. Good start to the second half for Olympic, where they looked like they might just be able to sneak back into it, but Monaro weathered the storm and realistically put it to bed with that third goal and iced it with the fourth, and may not be finished yet.
Driscoll, switch of play to Dahl. Rosbakken outside if he wants to. He might come back this way towards Jervis Hamilton. Southam watching intently.
Did well.
And finds Corrigan.
A little ambitious from Nicky Dahl. That's a 4-0 up sort of pass.
Dominici, his first touch of the ball. Operating some 75 metres from goal in a defensive midfield position.
Yeah, I think he's sort of taken it upon himself to just play that little bit of an anchor in midfield and just go into damage control a bit.
Brown sweeps it forward. Driscoll volleys it back. Dominici, the number 6.
Yeah, that's something you wouldn't say very often.
Ahmed Shaibu. Cashman. Dahl. Nice angled run. Chance for him to stretch the legs. Can he pick out someone in the middle? He has found J. James Ward. He might fall for Ahmed Shaibu. Drives it goalwards, and he has got his goal. The American scores. And it's a 5-star show from the Panthers. They are on fire today.
That's put that down to Nicky Dahl. I mean, his energy has been superb all day. He's worked up and down the park from his midfield spot, and again, 5 minutes to go, a couple of minutes to go, he's bombing down the right-hand side and he gets a decent ball in. Unfortunate for the young goalkeeper because he hasn't had a bad game, but he's sort of made a bit of an error there. But you live and learn from those sorts of mistakes, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Probably the hardest of the 4 chances that Ahmed Shaibu's had.
He's probably deserved a goal, but I don't think he expected to come that way.
That's his 5th of the season, and it's the 5th today for Monaro Panthers. A quite improbable scoreline when the afternoon started. And Canberra Olympic, well, this horror of a season is going to end on a sour note.
What is that, 1 win in 6 or 7?
There was 1 win in 5 before today, so this will be 1 win in 6. And this is the biggest defeats for a long time. They did lose 4-1 to Tigers earlier this year as well, at home.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Wonder, with 30 seconds plus stoppage time to go, whether the Panthers feel they want half a dozen.
Well, both teams look like they're settling for it. There's not a lot of energy at the moment. From a Monaro point of view, you can understand it, and I just think the lads in blue have had enough.
Dominici, McAlpine, Jenkins stops that. There is a break on here for Smith. He's got Rosbakken playing centre forward at the moment. Ahmed Shaibu to the right, and that's where he's gone, and off they come again here. Ahmed Shaibu pulls it back. It's Rosbakken lining one up, and it's saved from Christus.
Good on him.
Tipped over the bar. Good recovery from the keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll do him a world of good. I mean, he's made up. I mean, he's not played badly at all, but he just let one slip through and made up for it there.
Well, Sam Rosbakken, only 2 goals in 71 matches. Fancies one here, doesn't he?
Well, he won't get many better chances.
Ahmed Shaibu into stoppage time. J. James Ward pulls it back to Ahmed Shaibu. He fires it goalwards. Good save. It's come out for Rosbakken again. His eyes lit up. Good stop again from the keeper there with his feet.
It's been a little one-way, Russ.
When you think back to the first half and the quality of chances that we're begging, Ahmed Shaibu with a couple, and the save from Ristis with their header, and Eli Howe's chance, and a couple of opportunities we've seen just lately as well. It could have been so many more. Here's Chris Ray looking for a consolation for Olympic. Panthers will be in no mood to lose this clean sheet.
No, I don't think they will.
Jervis Hamilton lifts it forward. Rosbakken is offside. It's gone too early. Absolutely desperate for a goal, isn't he? Spent the whole of the season playing a right back. He's gone, give me 5 minutes up front.
Yeah, he's looking to get his name on the score sheet.
Well, they'll go into the bottom 4 final series decider next week in some form. Not many teams in their pomp have given Canberra Olympic this kind of scoreline.
My mind goes back to last year when Olympic turned over Gungahlin at the AIS, and they're a long way from that.
Well, it happened to Gungahlin 2 weeks ago, didn't it? The Canberra Croatia.
Yeah.
Gave them a 5-0 hammering, and that could have been more as well. So it Happens to everyone at some stage.
It does.
Smith, can they finish with a flourish? They play with a flourish for most of the afternoon. Smith. Well, nutmeg on Dominici, bit of a shirt pull as well.
Yeah, Gungahlin have had a strange season themselves, don't they? I mean, again, they drew 2-2 with Belconnen in the final challenge, and Belconnen had a hatful of chances where they might have won it.
Southam.
Turned out against FC and got turned over 5-0, like you say.
Livermore, he was interested for a second, that's okay. That'll do us. And it's an afternoon which Olympic will want to forget, Steve, but it's been an afternoon to remember for the Panthers. If they told them beforehand that they'd come out on top 5-0 against Canberra Olympic, I think a few people would have questioned your sanity, but they have been well worth this and possibly more. Yeah,
I think if there's going to be any disappointment from a Panthers point of view, it is the fact that they've only scored 5 when they had so many chances, but 5's comprehensive, and there is no denying that they thoroughly deserved their win. From an Olympic point of view, I think they were looking forward to the end of the season, and their last sort of half an hour sort of emphasised that they'd had enough and they wanted to go home. But full credit to Monaro. They go into next week's decider in good form, and they'll be waiting with some interest to see who they play.
And we will find out who they will play in a little over a couple of hours, because it's Tuggeranong versus Woden Western coming up to see who will play Panthers in the final. Olympic could well be back next week, depending on what happens in their next game. If Tuggeranong give Woden a bit of a touch-up, we'll talk a bit more about that in the game to come. But this afternoon, it's been all about the Panthers, and they were comfortably in front from the off. Adam Neo giving them the lead in the 4th minute. Brace of goals from Sam Smith either side of half-time. Ed McCarthy off the bench to make it 4. And Lukman Ahmed Shaibu, after missing a couple of presentable opportunities, did get his goal a couple of minutes from the end. The final score at the Riverside Stadium is Canberra Olympic 0, Monaro Panthers 5.